Welcome everyone, I'm Emory Hunt, the czar of the playbook, and now that all of the film has been watched and all of the grades are in, it's time for the Football Game Plan Scouting 2018 NFL Draft Prospect Preview. Before we get started with our prospect rankings, here's how we gather our grades and what they actually mean. First, we watch a minimum of 3 full games on a player, a prospect's best game, his worst game, and the best or intriguing matchup. And second, we grade on 15 key points specific to the position to equal 100 points in total. Now, here's what the grades that you'll see by a prospect's name will actually mean. Prospects that earn grades in the 90s graded out as future NFL All-Pros. Prospects in the 80s are considered future Pro Bowl players. Grades in the 70s represent solid NFL starters, and grades in the 60s are players that we believe are spot starters in the NFL. And if you notice, we don't use the word reserve or backups because we personally feel as though that there are no such thing as backups in the NFL, only starters in waiting. So without further ado, let's kick off our prospect rankings by taking a look at our top 10.
Central Michigan's Tyler Conklin graded out as our top flex tight end option in this draft class. I was impressed with his athleticism. Conklin is a 6'3", 252-pound tight end that moves and plays like a 220-pound wide receiver. His hand-eye coordination is definitely where it needs to be, and he has top-notch speed and agility to consistently find himself open a lot as a pro. Taking a look at the rest of the top 10, and Chris Herndon of Miami is such a fluid athlete. I think he's actually more of a natural receiver and football athletic and fluid than last year's first-round pick David Njoku. Jordan Atkins of UCF is a dynamic playmaker that's very comfortable playing out in space. Adam Brenneman would be higher on this list if it weren't for the nagging injuries. The UMass product is really good in the open field and is one of the more elusive tight ends in this draft class. Damon Gibson of MSU Moorhead is another intriguing prospect as well, as he was a wide receiver for the Dragons playing that pseudo inside position, but he definitely moves like a wideout and catches like one. At the East-West Shrine game, you saw him spend extra time working on his blocking. He's a prospect with some upside to keep an eye on as we move forward. You can also tell he was well coached in college. The same can be said for Tanner Hudson of Southern Arkansas. He could also end up as an H-back as well. He has good all-around game in my opinion. Blake Mack out of Arkansas State was one of my favorite players to watch throughout the season. He was a key playmaker for the Red Wolves, and I got an up-close look at his game at the East-West Shrine game. His receiving skills are unquestioned as he came into ASU as a receiver and sort of grew into that tight end flex guy, but it was his willingness to block and take pride in getting better at that aspect of his game is what stood out to me. That's still a part of his game where he still has to grow, but as a flex option in the passing game, I have a hard time finding safeties or linebackers that'll be able to keep him in check one-on-one.
So that's a wrap for our 2018 FBGP Scouting Draft Prospect Preview. To see more of our individual scouting reports, follow us on Twitter at FBGP Scouting and bookmark the page footballgameplan.com/FBGP Scouting. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/footballgameplan, where you can get all of our scouting videos, mock drafts, and NFL draft prospect videos. And one more thing, subscribe to us on iTunes under Football Game Plan Podcast, where you can find the Scout Team Podcast, where we interview multiple NFL draft prospects.